Hi everyone, welcome back. It continues to amaze me just how divisive our society is becoming. So much so that people are even arguing whether Octopus Go or Octopus Agile is the best energy tariff and the tariff that you should be on. So I thought I'd do a video analysing my data to give a clear example of which would be better for me and hopefully give you a good example of whether the Go tariff or the Agile tariff would be right for you. Okay, I'm keen not to make this an advertisement for Octopus Energy, and also I'm keen not to make this a video just saying here's my referral code, please use it. But of course, there is a referral code. You can have £50 credit when you join Octopus using my code, and it's in the description of the video, and it's also across the top of the screen now. So we'll get that over and done with. All you do is click the link and it goes and gives you a price example of what you could have if you swap to Octopus Energy. So there's no commitment in clicking the link, there's no commitment in going through the process. It's only if you decide to actually go ahead and do a switch that you actually then agree to switch your energy tariff from one company to another. And during that process, they do everything for you. And even if you do agree to do the switch and then change your mind, that's not a problem. You can change your mind and go back to your old provider at any time during the switch process. So there really is no reason why you shouldn't have a go. Have a look and see how much money you could save. There you go, that's the advertisement over and done with. So what the heck is Octopus Agile and Octopus Go? Well, Octopus Energy is just an energy company that's offering tariffs in the UK, and they have two smart products, smart meter related products, where they offer you a flexible energy price. One, the Go tariff, offers you a fixed price throughout most of the day, but there's a 4-hour period and the early hours of the morning where it's only 5 pence a kilowatt hour. So that's perfect for if you can charge your electric car, heat your hot water, do anything on a timer where you can use that cheaper energy at a low price overnight between midnight and 4:30 in the morning. Octopus Agile is very different because instead of that flat 17 pence a kilowatt hour for the rest of the day, the price goes up and down every half an hour. So during the most expensive period of the day, which is 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 7 p.m. at night, that period can be up to 35 pence per kilowatt hour, and often is at the moment. So that's a fixed capped price as the highest it can actually be. But at all other times other than that peak period, the price is a lot lower than the 17 pence per kilowatt hour on the Go tariff. So as an example, today most of the half-hour segments during the day up to 4 o'clock are between 10 pence and 16 pence a kilowatt hour. So every hour of the day I'm gaining by using electricity at a cheaper price than the 17 pence per kilowatt hour. But if I use some energy during the 4 till 7 p.m., then I'm paying a lot more for it, and therefore the average price I'm paying is going up. So here's a good example. Somebody on Twitter posted something recently that I saw and it stuck in my mind, where they analysed a whole year's worth of Agile data, and they basically looked at the 4 cheapest half-hour segments of electricity, or it might have been 6 of the cheapest segments. And they then presumed you had a 7 kilowatt hour battery at home and you charged every night into that 7 kilowatt hour battery from those cheapest periods on the Octopus Agile tariff. Then they looked at the entire year to see what the average price that you paid for that electricity, and it worked out to be 4.97 pence per kilowatt hour. Amazingly close to the Octopus Go price. Is that a coincidence? But the straight facts are these. Octopus Agile offers the cheapest prices. In some periods, they actually pay you to use electricity, so that is the cheapest. But also, Octopus Agile has the most expensive periods. It has those periods of 35 pence a kilowatt hour. So the choice is yours as to whether you want a flat price that you don't have to worry about whether it's going up or down, plus a cheap period, and whether that suits you, or whether you like the idea of maximizing your use of energy and the prices available so that you can capitalize on those really cheap periods but also avoid those expensive ones. And that's part of a game, isn't it? You know, can I have enough energy left? Can I avoid using the oven, etc., between 4 and 7 o'clock and capitalize on those cheap prices but not be affected by those high prices? Obviously, with Octopus Go, it's a lot easier because you don't have that up and down. You don't have that risk of will I make it by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, the one thing I dislike is misleading apps and misleading comparison engines where they'll tell you whether you would be better off using one product or the other. Because what they're looking at, for example, with myself, I'm on the Octopus Agile tariff, and if I look at my actual usage data, I can see whether I would have been paying more or less using the Octopus Go tariff. And this app that I'll show you, the Octopus Go Agile app, it's free on Android. It shows you that comparison. But again, what it's missing is that both of these products are aimed at changing your profile of usage. They're aimed at trying to encourage you to use energy at a certain time and discourage you from using it at another time. So if I was on Octopus Go, I would be using more energy between midnight and 4:30 at night. If I'm on Octopus Agile, I'll be using more energy at the time when it is the cheapest, which might be 10:30 at night, it might be 7 o'clock in the morning. It does vary. So comparing my usage of Octopus Agile now and the time-based usage of energy isn't appropriate for looking at the Octopus Go tariff, because I would change how I use the energy and change the time. And because I can control whether I put the washing machine on or the electric car charger or heat my hot water, a lot of things I can change what time of day I do it, and therefore I can maximize either product. So you've got to think about whether the Go or the Agile tariff suits your lifestyle and the ability for you to change your energy use to suit the benefits of that cheap electricity on that tariff. So by looking at this day-to-day comparison that I'm about to do from this Octopus Go Agile app, I hope you'll be able to see what energy that I've been actually using on Octopus Agile, and whether I could or could not move it to the Go tariff and save a little bit of money. So I want to give you a real example of a real month's usage and real month's data. That's the idea of this video. Here we go. So let's start with the summary for the entire month of December. I'm on Octopus Agile and I have spent £14.52 on energy for the entire month of December. If I'd been on the Octopus Go tariff and used energy at exactly the same time periods, I would have spent £25.90. Now, most of that difference is on the day that there was a plunge price, because obviously I used as much energy as possible at a time when it was plunging. But if I was on the Go tariff, it wouldn't have been so cheap. And critically, I might not have used as much energy at all. This is the typical chart that I will show you for each day. It's showing my energy usage as the bars in the turquoisey green-blue color at the bottom. That's rising up in the time period and shows you when I used the energy. On the right-hand side, you'll see the scale of the graph is in kilowatt hours. So as the bar rises up, that's how many kilowatt hours I used in the period. So right at the very right-hand side of the screen, you can see a bar rising up to just over 0.6 kilowatt hours at around, that's 10, 11 o'clock at night. And then on the left-hand side of the chart, you can see the scale is in pence. That's the price of the energy I'm paying. The straight lines on the graph, they're showing the actual price in the time period. So for the greenish blue line, that's showing the price for the Octopus Go tariff. You can see it plunging down to 5 pence a kilowatt hour between midnight and 4:30 in the morning, and then rising up to, it looks like 15 pence. I think I might have said 17 earlier in the video, so 15 pence all other times. But the darker blue line, the royal blue line, that's going up and down every half an hour segment. And you can see it's cheaper at different times of day, but very expensive between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the evening. So that's what this chart is showing. Then at the bottom, it's showing the actual price for the day. So you can see that I've consumed 4.25 kilowatt hours of energy from the grid in this day. If I was on the Go tariff, it would have been 59 pence, and I am on the Agile tariff, and it cost me 58 pence. That does include the standing charge, which is a penny different, I believe. Why am I using so little energy, only 4.25 kilowatt hours in a day? Well, that's because I have solar panels. So if there's sunlight during the day, I'm using that energy and not any energy from the grid at all. So in this first example, the 1st of December, that one little bar on the right-hand side where I charge just over 0.6 of a kilowatt hour at something like 10, 11 o'clock at night, if I was on the Go tariff, I would have done that charging in the morning, more between midnight and 4:30 in the morning, alongside those other two bars, and that would have given me a lower price on the Octopus Go tariff. 2nd of December, I didn't do any charging of the battery, and we can see that because the scale on the right hand side is only at 0.2 kilowatt hours. That was the biggest chunk of energy I used completely, and that was a chunk I used at something like 5:30 in the morning. So the difference between Octopus Go and Agile was just 5 pence on this day. 3rd of December, a very rare day. Highlighted in red, it shows that I would have saved money if I was on the Octopus Go tariff on this day, just 61 pence instead of 68 pence. And the difference is because the Agile price was quite high. If you look at the prices there, I was charging overnight at over 10 pence a kilowatt hour, and that overlapped just slightly into the 4:30 to 5 o'clock period. So again, that's the reason why. If I was on the Go tariff, I would have actually charged all of that period inside the half midnight to half 4 period. 4th of December, nice big chunk of charging overnight, charging up the battery, and a couple of those segments did overlap outside of the Go tariff period. So again, if I was on the Octopus Go tariff, all of that charging would have been inside the cheaper period, and the price was lower than what the Agile price was, so it looks like Go would have been cheaper if I'd have charged inside that period. Okay, let's try and rattle through these a little bit quicker. So again, on the 5th of December, I've charged just slightly outside of the Go tariff again, so Go would have been a little bit cheaper. Sunday the 6th of December, I've charged all over the place and all outside of the Go period. But if you look at the times and the prices that I've charged on Agile, they're actually quite close to the 5 pence a kilowatt hour. In fact, those at 10, 11 o'clock, they look a little bit cheaper than the 5 pence. Monday the 7th, doesn't look like there was any charging there at all. The scale is very small at 0.1 kilowatt hours. The price was identical for either the Go tariff or the Agile tariff. But you'll notice on this chart again, I don't use energy, I don't consume energy inside that peak period. On the 8th, I charge again just before midnight, and that's what makes the Agile tariff look cheaper than the Go tariff. But if I had charged inside the Go tariff, then Go would have been cheaper. 9th of December, very interesting day because I charged completely outside of the Octopus Go tariff period. But look at those prices for Agile, 22 pence a kilowatt hour-ish throughout a large period of the day. A very expensive day, but thankfully I only used 3 kilowatt hours. Because I have the benefit of solar panels and a home storage battery to use the energy from instead of the grid. Another interesting day on Thursday, the 10th of December here. Looks like I was trying to judge it and trying to get through the day without charging at all, but chickened out just before the 4 o'clock period and charged up at the cheapest possible time, paying what looks like about 15 pence a kilowatt hour, just to get through that more expensive period where I would have paid twice the price if I hadn't have charged. The benefit of having a home storage battery. The 11th, back to charging overnight, and again a couple of segments there outside of the Go tariff. So again, it's proving if I had the Go tariff, I could probably save some more money by charging inside that period. And this is one of my highest consuming days, consumed 6.55 kilowatt hours. Wow, that's a lot of energy, eh? Another day charging outside the Octopus Go tariff period. And another with a high usage day of 5.57 kilowatt hours. 14th, another day where I was charging more expensively than if I'd had the Go tariff, and again at different times. The 15th, the same again. And the 16th. 17th of December, another day where I didn't charge up at all. Despite that high line, look at the scale on the right-hand side, just 0.1 kilowatt hours. So on these days, I'm estimating how much sunlight there's going to be. I'm looking at the weather forecast the night before, seeing what the price of energy is, seeing how much solar I think there's going to be the next day, and then taking a decision as to whether to charge up overnight on cheap electricity or whether to wait for the sunshine and get it for free. The 18th of December, another one of those days where I was trying to get through the expensive period with just using the energy I had in the battery, but I chickened out and charged up in the cheap period just before 4 o'clock. The 19th included some charging inside the Go period, but also a couple of periods outside as well. You'll notice from these graphs that I'm not describing car charging at all, and that's because of lockdown and this coronavirus stuff. I'm really not doing enough miles in the car. I'm not charging up on this cheap energy. I'm typically charging the car on a sunny day when there's enough solar energy to charge completely for free. 20th of December, and I was charging in a staggered period, not close together, so once about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and then again just after midnight, so to try and maximise the price of the 2 half-hour segments. Sometimes you'll get like a 5 pence, then a 6 pence, and then a 5 pence again. So if I only need 2 segments, I can skip the one in the middle and avoid the 6 pence one. So the more time as you have and the more flexibility, the more you can really optimise those prices. The 21st of December must have been a sunny day because that doesn't look like there was any charging at all for me. There's a really good anomaly to look at on this chart as well. If you have a look at the green bars at the bottom of the chart there, you can see the period between 9 o'clock in the morning, and this looks like 9 o'clock at night, that I'm using much less energy. So even though I've got a home storage battery, when I'm not using solar power, especially, so that period between midnight and say 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm using more energy. Even though I've got a home storage battery, I'm actually drawing more from the grid. So the previous day, running on just solar energy, doesn't look like I charged the battery up enough for the next day, so we've had to charge overnight for the 22nd of December. The 23rd must have been sunny as well, because it doesn't look like we charged at all there. And interesting that we were using some tenths of a kilowatt hour just before the 4 o'clock period. But when 4 o'clock comes, now all stops and we're not using any energy. Another odd graph here showing a rather large blue spike going up to 6.5 kilowatts of energy, all at just after 5 o'clock in the morning. So why would I do that? And yet the Agile price is only 39 pence that I spent for the entire day. So if you look closely at the graph there, the tariff for the Agile product was 0 pence. So it really was free. Fill your boots. Use as much energy as you like. So why didn't I use more? Why didn't I charge more things and heat more hot water and those sort of things at those really cheap prices? Well, I just didn't need to. I didn't need that extra energy, so I didn't use it. And finally, the 25th of December, Christmas Day. So obviously there's going to be expensive prices for the energy on that day because everyone's going to be having their oven on for a much longer period than normal to cook their Christmas lunch. So here's something worth mentioning for Christmas Day, and that's that Octopus Energy provided free energy, zero cost energy for all their customers on Octopus Agile, the ones with smart meters that could actually record what their energy usage was on a half-hourly basis. So between 8 o'clock and 12 o'clock, free energy. Christmas lunch cooked for free, all courtesy of Octopus Energy. So with features like that, and sending you fluffy, cuddly octopi as well, who wouldn't want to be with an energy company like this? Because I haven't known any other energy company that does anything like this. So even with free energy on Christmas Day, topping up the battery, having everything full up, I was still in need of more energy the next day. So Boxing Day, the 26th, I was still charging at what looks like about 5 pence a kilowatt hour first thing in the morning. And then also at the end of the day, see those dark blue lines? I was using a lot of energy. What was going on then? Well, it was a plunge price. It was free energy, so I was heating the hot water in the middle of the night. The plunge price continued into the next day, Sunday the 27th, and it was paying me about 4.5 pence per kilowatt hour. So again, I charged the car all the way to 100%, heated the hot water, even turned some heating on during the night, so the house was lovely and warm as well. Why not? They were paying us to use the energy. They wanted the energy off the grid. So the more I used, the better for them, and the more I used, the better for me, which gets the average price down quite a lot at the end of the month. And in this price plunge period, I managed to use 40 kilowatt hours of energy. Now for me, that's a really large amount. In total for the day, I spent minus £1.42 on energy. They paid me £1.42 for the entire day, where if I was on the Go tariff, I would have paid £4.36. But of course I wouldn't, would I? If I was on the Go tariff, then I would not have used those 40 kilowatt hours of energy. I only did so because it was a price plunge. And that's why these direct comparisons, which make it look like Agile is a lot better than Go, aren't necessarily telling you the truth. Okay, last few days. 28th, charged up around the 5 o'clock period. 29th, there must have been plenty of solar energy because it doesn't look like we charged at all. Same again on the 30th, we must have had lots of solar energy because I can't see any charging on there, but look at the prices for the day. 41 pence for Agile. If I was on Go, it would have been 40 pence. Go would have been slightly cheaper. Weirdly, because I've used more energy in that period of half midnight to half 4, even though fast asleep and there was a battery looking after energy usage. And the last day of the month, 31st of December, looks like there's a bug in the app. The scale on the right-hand side is showing 0, even though there was some consumption. So if I readjust all of those periods where I could have charged inside the cheap Go period, but didn't, what would the price difference be? Would Go have been cheaper for me? Do you know, I really don't care, because I don't think it's about the price. I think they're going to be pretty similar. The difference is, whether you're attracted to these plunge prices, whether you're attracted to the game of missing the 4 o'clock peak energy, or whether you want the convenience of charging just at midnight to 4 a.m. Okay, just because I know it'll probably work out to be about the same sort of price doesn't mean you do. So I'm sure some of you would like to see the calculation, the estimation, to know whether it really would have been cheaper on Go or Agile. Okay, so 98 kilowatt hours could have been moved into the cheaper 5p period of Go, times by 5 pence, that's £4.90, instead of 98 times 15 pence, £14.70, a saving of £9.80. Deduct that from the original £25.90, £16.10. Agile would have been cheaper. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope there's some useful information there. I find it interesting to go through and look at these charts on a daily basis. You know, I don't do it every day, but to go back every now and then and have a look in detail does give you a good idea about what tariff you're on and whether it's the right one for you. For me, I'm feeling like Agile's right some of the year. Go might be right and other parts of the year because I'm really not enjoying swapping the timers around on the battery charging for the multiple segments. I do need to test the automation that is available with this Give Energy battery to see whether it can automate it in the way I want it to be automated. Anyway, we'll see later. Anyway, thank you for watching and see you again soon. Bye for now. Oh, I need to get on with doing the stats for my December end of month review of solar energy, don't I? There's something there that I do want to discuss, and that's the difference that I can see from what I was saying a year ago in my November solar update video. My attitude seems to have changed towards storage batteries.